Hey guys, today is a quick video swatching the brand new shades from Rare Beauty. They finally arrived in New Zealand and I picked up these shades because this formula is absolutely beautiful. So let's get into some cheek swatches first and then we'll talk about the formula. First up is the shade Encourage. Just gonna add a couple drops. Then I'm just taking my Hourglass blush brush. This is number 2. And I'm just going to blend this out. This is a beautiful color. You can kind of see that, gorgeous. And it blends out really easily as well. So this is the shade Encourage. I'm not blending it too close to my concealer because I'm going to wipe this off and put another shade on, so ignore that part. But this is the shade Encourage. It's a beautifully muted mauve pink. It definitely has a bit of purple in it. It's very pretty and looks really great on my skin tone. I'll add a little bit more just so you can see that color. Just gonna add very, very pretty. So this is the shade Encourage. Then I'm going to add the shade Believe on the other side just because it's quite similar to Encourage, but it's more of a slightly cooler tone and deeper version. So as you can see, they are quite pigmented, but the dewy formula from Rare Beauty blends out pretty well. Gorgeous color. This is the shade Believe. As you can tell, it is really similar to this shade right here. I really don't think you need both. You could really just pick one or the other. They just look very, very similar on my skin tone. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Very pigmented. And here's the shade Believe. Believe and Encourage. When these two blushes are on my cheek, I really don't notice a huge difference. I really don't. I feel like they look pretty much the same. Perhaps there's just a difference in undertone, with this being slightly cooler, this being slightly warmer. That's really the only difference I see on my cheek. Other than that, they look almost the same. If I was you and you're interested in these blushes, I honestly would just pick one. I wouldn't really pick both. I'm going to remove this and we're going to put the next shade on. Next up is the shade Hope, which I really, really love. I felt like this is what I wanted Bliss to be. Bliss is a little bit light on it, however Hope is perfection. Side. Gorgeous, gorgeous color. This is the shade Hope. It's really beautiful and I think it flatters my skin tone quite a bit. This is my favorite shade out of the 3. This is the shade Hope. This is Hope on both cheeks. For those of you who may be new to my channel, I have swatched all the other blush shades from Rare Beauty, so please make sure to check that out. So the 3 new blush shades from Rare Beauty are absolutely gorgeous, you guys, and they are in fact different to the existing range. The new shades are simply just more muted, perhaps even more wearable shades than the current existing pink toned shades in the collection. All new shades are the dewy blush formula. None of these are matte, and the dewy formula is in fact rather easy to use from Rare Beauty. It doesn't set down so quickly like the matte formulation, which means you really have time to blend it onto the skin. You don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, this is going to set down, and so you have to be quick with it. You really don't. You can kind of take your time with them. So I really appreciate that about these blushes. I feel like they're a lot easier to use than the matte versions. They're also very pigmented, so you really only need a very small amount. You don't need a lot of dots, maybe just 1 or 2, blend it out and you're good to go. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, just understanding that these are highly pigmented, and so you want to proceed with caution and use less product. And I'm happy to say that the new formula doesn't feel any different from the previous formulation. Perhaps these just feel like a little bit easier to use because the colors are more muted. They glide and blend really seamlessly, and of course the longevity is amazing. These last all day on my skin. They don't even fade. Up until 8 hours, I will still see beautiful blush color on the cheek, so I really adore the longevity. Now, the dewy formulation is also not too dewy. It is still dewy that my hair will stick to my cheek. However, it's not as dewy as your M Cosmetics serum blushes or the Nudestix dewy blushes or the Chanel glossy balms. All of those blushes are kind of more on the extreme end of the dewiness scale. So this is not really dewy, this is extremely glossy. So I think that these blushes are kind of in the middle, where I feel like a lot of people will enjoy this formula. I also don't find that they overly enhance texture. So if you're looking for a dewy formulation that isn't super glossy, isn't going to really enhance a ton of texture, I think you will be really happy with these. Now, just looking at the entire collection, my favorite pink shade is still Grace. I really love Grace, and I love how it looks on my skin tone. So if you're curious to see what that looks like, make sure to check out my other video. I'll leave the link in the description box. However, after Grace, I have really enjoyed Hope. I think Hope is just a really beautiful, cool tone, light pink. It works really well with a lot of my pink lipsticks as well, so I find that this shade is just super flattering on my skin tone. Now, the other shades, which are a little bit more mauve toned and more muted, Enourage and Believe, these are also very pretty, but for me the standouts remain Grace and Hope. Let me know what you guys think of the new shades. Have you tried them? What do you think of the formula? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. See ya!